Hi, and welcome to the third RoboHydra screencast. In this screencast, I'm going to show the plugins that come with the new version 0.2. With a freshly installed RoboHydra, you will see the plugins in this directory. And there is a README file that explains what they are, these three, and what they do. I'm going to start by explaining replayer and then logger and caching together, no caching together. So replayer is a RoboHydra plugin that proxies all the requests to whatever URL, it's configurable, of course, we want, and it will record those requests together with the response that the server replied with. Once we have recorded everything we want, we can replay all those requests over and over and over to reproduce bugs or to be able to work offline or we don't have access to that server or whatever else. So to use replayer, we are going to go to Tumblr. We're going to record the traffic that goes to Tumblr to the search for popular tags, so we know that every couple of seconds, if we reload, we will have some new content. Not this time, but yeah, it changes pretty often. So we'll see how when we make several requests to the same URL, we are still getting all those differences. So to be able to use it, we can use this configuration file. We only need one plugin, replayer, and the configuration is replay URL, as it says here. We make it point to tumblr.com. So we start RoboHydra before anything. Now it's listening, so we are going to, instead of the real tumblr.com or directly tumblr.com, we are going to RoboHydra. So we see some responses here, but we're not recording yet. When we want to record, as again the README file says, we go to the URL start recording. So we go to start recording. Now we're recording. So we go again to this URL. We get some response. We wait for a couple of seconds and we reload this URL, hoping that there will be some new content. Excellent. Some new content, 2 more posts. And we wait a bit more for a third request. Hopefully there will be some new content. Excellent. There are many new posts. Okay, so we have what we need and we can start replaying now. If we start replaying, we go again to the same URL. We will see that we get the first response we got. We reload, we get another one. We reload and we get yet another one. If we reload again, we will get again the first response we recorded. And again, the second one, the third one, back to the first one, and so on. So all this traffic is saved in a file RoboHydra replayer.json. It seems impossible to understand, but this is actually the whole response body in base64. So let's to be able to make sense of these files, I created a very simple script. This traffic analyzer, as you can see, is just a handful of lines, and basically the data is saved in a JavaScript object which has the URLs, and then for every URL there is a list of requests or responses that were received from that URL. So we see here the responses from the request to favicon.ico. We see the status code, the headers until here, and then the body. And the body is in base64. So what we are going to do is going here to tagged Qt and we're going to go to the end, and we're going to actually remove, let's see, we're going to remove until here, and we're going to replace it with a different response that we are going to make up, just to make sure that the responses are really taken from this file, and we can fiddle with it and put whatever we want. So let's put something like this. Yeah, so this in base 64 would be this here, and we go back to that file, we paste, and just in case we're going to look for the content length, and we're going to remove content length, so the browser doesn't get confused, because the content length is not the same as the actual length of the content that is being sent. So we again start RoboHydra. We start replaying from the same file still, but this time the file has a different third response for this URL. So the first one is as we had seen, the second one is as we had seen, but the third one is going to be this new one. If we reload again, we'll go back to the first one, and so on. So as you can see, it's very, very easy to put RoboHydra in front of the URL or the server that you want to connect to, record all the data that you're interested in, maybe fiddle with it if you want to, and then make RoboHydra replay all those requests, so you can easily, for example, reproduce bugs, or you can simply work offline. That was it for the replayer. So now we're going to have a look at RoboHydra plugins README. We're going to have a look at logger and no caching. In this case, what we're going to do is, well, I'm going to explain first what they do. Logger is a plugin that logs all the traffic, but not in a way that is easy to replay, like replayer. In this case, it's just writing a log file that is human readable, and it's much easier to make sense of what happened. And no caching is a plugin that will automatically remove any caching headers from the client. It will delete the if modify since header and set always the cache control to no cache. So to be able to use it, I have written the no caching configuration file. I'm using first the logger, so I'm logging everything. I'm removing all the caching headers, and then I'm proxying to robohydra.org in this case. Example proxy is a very simple plugin that only has one single head that proxies everything to RoboHydra, and that's it. So let's start RoboHydra with this one. No caching, yes. And let's see what we get from here. We get robohydra.org because that's what we are proxying to, and we reload a couple of times, and then we can see in the robohydra.log file, let's open this with less, we can see that we have a log here of all the requests that have happened in a much easier way to read than replay, because replay is just a format so the plugin can make sense of it and can replay the requests. But in this case, this is just for a human to make sense of what went on, and to have a more readable way to figure out what requests went through and what responses came from the server. You see the headers here, and you see the total bytes, the contents of the response body, but then you have only a preview. So you see that this is not the whole response, just for readability. And if you see here in the request headers, you see that cache control is always set, and is always set to no cache, and there can be any if modified since, because if Opera had sent them in the first place, the RoboHydra plugin would have removed them, so we will never see them here. And that's it. Now you see how you can use the 3 first plugins of the RoboHydra standard library, and that's it. Yeah, enjoy. Thanks for watching.